Alrighty, so we got two teasers coming up over into here, and as per usual, when something like this, so here it's extensive enough. I'm gonna be doing one part, the other. So for this first part over into here, we are gonna be doing the caesarism section of the JD tree. All sort of interesting little stuff I got going on over here in the here with the more so nationals with some left wing bends into it. As usual over here, very nice focus of icon over here. May notice some of these seem familiar because I did do free notice, but from what I've seen and listed over here, I'm pretty sure the descriptions have changed a bit. And over in here, because I remember the posting the video like a long ass time ago. I think I have a video, but I don't remember what the fuck it was called. Oh, there we go. So yeah, it's gonna be really just in case. Because I just looking for a graph glance over here, there are some changes over here along with some additional ideology stuff. So we might as well. First, I'll start with democracy. Napoleon Bonaparte, Oliver Cromwell, Frederick II, Genghis Khan, and Peter the Great, among countless others, were men of extraordinary knowledge and matters of war and peace. Their actions were not motivated by greed or the lust for power itself, but rather a single desire to serve the people and the nation. What separates them from the others is the sheer magnitude of what these brave men often find themselves among their rank and file soldiers, sharing the pride and going bravely into battle of the first line, worthily receiving numerous titles during the reign. In the footsteps of this century offered many heroes too, most coming from a military background who saw, to repeat, even like see the glory of their ancestors. The rules which there was a very general classified as democracy. Plato described it as a government based on the principle of honor and military glory, with the iron fist of the war hero serving the guiding light. There is not much to go here in ideologies or sounds to the principle and the ideas, but rather a mode of caesarism government in the age of liberal commerce and furious degeneracy and chaos. Popular military men can take prestige and legitimacy away from the failing systems and in a rather brutal fashion, writing really about popular imperial revolution. Yet there is no mere junta. Rather than rely on an oligarchy of officers, there is a single omnipotent virtuoso who will stop at nothing to bring the values and struggles and discipline of the whole nation. What this means is no ugly jingoism, but rather heroic and nightly self-improvement. And the conquerors of such invasive policies, democracies are often totalitarian in nature. Some choosing the path of aspire to focus on war itself, others to walk the way of Prussia or Nug as the final goal. The third may take up on a Bonapartiste approach of walking on a tightrope between personal autonomy and unquenchable dedication to imperial destiny. As the spirit of commodities, cheap entertainment, and desire for peace once again spread on the masses worldwide. Sorry, I pressed the... Sorry, I hit the fucking recording until I accident, my bad. So too, complacency and apathy go lead to erosion. Moving needs to slumber can lead only to death. Always forceful. Yet if you said the faithful will not grab the rifle and defend their homeland, those who can see the moment awaken the people shall ever be remembered as grand monuments that withstand storm of time and ideologies. So yeah. Interesting stuff over into here. Yeah, sorry about the recording software popping up over here. Yeah, sometimes it does that over here. I've seen that happen quite a bit over here. It just pops up out of the fucking blue. I don't know why it does that. This happens like every now and then, doesn't happen quite often. But it is a bit annoying every time it happens. You know that personalistic tissue over here looking like a fucking... looking like a fucking will of the people and along with others playing shit in the eyes, yeah. Very neat one over here, I like that one. Objects with greater mass exert a greater pull. Power gives the reins to control and those strength to make it right, will make right. But what about those who see beyond casts and councils? What will history say about the warriors and statesmen who build up a state that stands not with mere men but with strong leaders, who are the Harvards and conquerors of the new century? The men who saw empty thrones and dared to take the crown were not just presidents or kings of the past. They were something different. With loudspeakers, microphones, and televisions, they hold the power to become more than just humans. They become the embodiment of the regime. They are a manifestation of power and prestige, the sun around which politics enforce resolve. Praising and serving, such as regime classified as a personal dictatorship. True to its name, this ideology cannot be understood if it is separated from its carrier. Single, strong individuals capable of moving mountains and performing miracles, whether they are elected democratically or serve the system through force. All these virtuoso leaders exercise power through a triad of charisma, vision, and loyalty. What charisma they imprint their image to the very soul of the nation, pour sweet words into their ears and poems of paradise on earth. Yet far from simple populism, as they possess a vision far beyond anything else seen before. To achieve this, they command loyalty. As the state merely a tool to serve them, with bureaucratic voices transformed from simple peasant pushing into a war court, with its rituals and nobility, placing loyalty to a sovereign with unlimited power to forgive and punish. Naturally, every leader at the top of a regime has their own economic, state-structured policies on peace and war, etc. And there are the only sort of legitimacy in order that can guide the masses, but it will be wrong to like simple dictators and military hunters. There is no place for the lowly materialistic squabble. They must be heroic and supernatural in design. Like flames from people, they spring up and not fall as often as the steep build or single pillars likely to fall. Even with the pragmatic and flexible rule of strong leaders, vice knows no exceptions. And if it stumbles, the nation stumbles as well. The figure falls complete, the nation may die, yet this world yearns for heroes. One day, there may be one who will slay the dragon and cast away darkness. So, yeah. It's very much, is whatever the person who's leading is over here. But yeah, for like in terms of like if they're very much a strong man, sort of a. Now on to Revnat's revolutionary nationalism. The rule of the Great War turned the political tree upside down, whereas the nationalism of the past was promoted by puppets and often the aristocrats, and the crowned heads were associated with the great heroes in the past who make bygone eras and admired long buried great men with medals on their chests. Nationalism in the 20th century was radically different, and the Great War forever shared the romantic images. Its consequence, such as the German Spartacism, and feudalism stole the spotlight of global politics. However, the marriage between war and modernity gave rise to a third child, unwanted as some may call it, still the crossover between heroic capitalism and fair socialism. It will lead to the images of old victories as well as the new technologies and shape forms of innovative art. And it matured, it became known as revolutionary nationalism. At its core, they believed that the people need salvation, not delusionary art or mindless prayer, but through direct action and the right action of truthful values while advancing the industrial world. And that attains the need for a leader who can be an example for the nation, who wishes only eternal prosperity, sitting for his king, ruling justly but firmly, surrounded by men selfless and willing to work, fight, and die. They usually lean towards left-wing economic systems such as syndicalism, corporatism, and planned economy, which are the only form capable of bringing rapid industrialism. Meanwhile, the social and cultural parties are shifting to the right. They employ ultra-nationalistic, xenophobic, and militaristic rhetoric, seeing the state as a unified organism that must constantly self-regulate and purge degeneracy to stay healthy. The desire to form a nationalism is vague, with some wishing to employ a vision of civic patriotism, while others rely on racialism or dominant genetics. Yeah. However, the ideas nevertheless lived on in the minds of many around the world. The European destined despise futurism, stagnation, fanaticism, and heroes the city of the lost hope and Gogolov. In some outcasts also saw in the red tide opportunity for final liberation from European oppression. Revolutionary nationalism means a force with potential is yet to be realized. Whatever beauty and horror may bring to a world already twisted beyond recognition. It definitely is interesting over there. So this it kind of made me like the bridge between like the right and left side, like the whole futurism of these cells and the reactionaries, all that. Fascinating stuff, by the way. I think it's really interesting. Now to unitary nationalism. The aftermath of never-ending wars, famines, and catastrophes produce a fundamentally different thinking than the old era. Catching with thoughts on a radical, orthogonal, one could say a millenarian way of seeing the dying nations of the world, bringing back life and meaning to the world forever damaged by towards tentacles. The blue tentacles, rather. With the blue curtain and all that shit. Anyways. With countless stains of it developing and crystallizing in the form of heroic juntas or personalist party states, there was again left a void of someone who did not fit clear definitions. Should we call unitary nationalists? A broadcast alternative code, though everyone who did not see them as a democratic monopartism, personalist of Latinism, traditionally upheaval all social imperialist desires for the never-ending storm of steel and gunpowder. Get to that in a bit. The who nonetheless use wish to dedicate themselves to the salvation of people from malice and want. Usually they find themselves on good terms with reactionaries by using ravaging and appropriating religious opium to dominate and lead their people. As after natural hierarchy akin to feudal pyramids of orders constructed and promote the natural strata of new aristocracy, a bit like a modern take on feudalism, rather. Neo-feudalism, I guess. Yet not entirely a return of reactionary norms, but rather a great decoupling of industry from dirty. Since it came with the ultranationalism and despotism is usually coupled with state capitalism and corporatism, sometimes in more traditional economic models seeking to reap benefits of industrialism without sacrificing national character. Mixing entrepreneurial initiatives with the collective national well-being, where they do agree with the environmentalists and a new kind of state must emerge both on total and questionable dedication to the nation's cause. A party state, a total state, nothing outside or against the state and everything within the state. That sounds familiar. At the precipice of total war collapse, there may be only one idea capable of pulling rank pulling mankind away from sudden doom. The return of old without the sacrifice of new. New schizophrenic, some would say, confidential chapter in the book of human history. Yet there may be no solution to the world ills. The nation is dying, its people are divided. They yearn for freedom and prosperity, and if one must forfeit their life and blood into their cause, then he must too pick up his banner of reactionary modernity. Ride the tiger and through struggle obtain his right to exist. Ride this tiger. As a fucking Julius Ebola. Anyway. Man. Curious about that. Because he was. I remember he was in a teaser for Italy. I wonder if he's still going to be hanging around over here because I would like to see how Ebola is doing. Especially with the whole like fucking weird ass shit, anyways. Social imperialism over here. This is the one. Rationalism is far from omnipotent, even in the modern world against its still esoteric reactionaries receive this, but these are tapped as a profound exaltation of human duty. That's something which drove them to death with joy, something that people would later call social imperialism. When the stern creativeness of war broke loose in the sea of blood for late Patron's declaration of war against Germany, a whole new world was born. No more could individuals, tiny islands spread loose, but they will certainly perish as brimstone and hellfire fell upon the world. A new reality was born, and questions haunting mankind were answered. To both power meets the determined and greatness, without concern for oneself and their honor's correlation to the blood. Militarism is a cure for the world because it creates hierarchy over a purpose. Men never set the rules to act on over here. That's a mandatory thing, by the way. Discipline and law are created and conducted of people synchronizing and watching. Never should the power politics actively about power and those determining to wield at any cost. State all consuming is both a means and ends of itself. It is a state of force, state of matter, state of politics. The rugged atmosphere of this world demands soldiery values and a new kind of socialism where the trenches of where men of death's mercy share the last breath slice with nothing but joy and camaraderie laugh. The absolute imperative of the collective, the state, and the all-consuming goal of destiny. Yep. In social imperialism, the social body is the totality of life, and all must be conducted for the great product of limitless imperialism in the face of this mundane, bureaucratic, and weakening world. Social imperialism is not an ideology in the traditional sense, it's more of a will, the will to fight, and the will to struggle, the will to overcome, and the will to power even. Desire to pick up the sword and defend against the whole, even if you remain alone. It is the only preparation for the struggle which is coming and must not be understated. It goes beyond left and right, beyond even mind and matter, above the holy, imperative will is a reformed life in the face of war struggles. It will not go unnoticed, bound to get in the militant fate of a new man shall be for it. The man of one and all of one. The man who will create and visit imperium. Yeah, this is the Yoxter's old stick, by the way. I'm very curious about how that's going to go over here because I'm very interested to see how they're going to be doing that. The whole imperial stuff over here. I'm very excited about this, yeah. That's about it for these particular ideologies over in here. Some change over here for the one over here. Like, there's only one really new one over here, and the others got changed descriptions. Very interesting stuff over here, nonetheless. I think it's interesting. And I'm very much looking forward because the next one over here is going to be coming out later. Probably tomorrow. I want to see something. But yeah. We're going to get into the reactionaries, and then after that, we have the SLs over in here. Yeah, I forgot I had I left the 2 names, by the way. Am I up on that? Anyways. We'll get back into that next time over here, so I shall see you guys into the reactionaries. Till then, bye.